Welcome to A Mason's Work, the podcast where we review Masonic symbols and illustrate how they can be used to solve problems in everyday life. With your host, Brian Mattox, a proud member of the Craftsman Online Media Network.
As Freemasons, we're taught not to talk about religion and politics in the lodge. And there's tons of reasons for this, and they all make good sense. But when it comes time to then explore concepts like the Grand Architect of the Universe, which sits squarely in the center of the square and compasses, it becomes a difficult thing as a new Mason or even experienced Mason to figure out how to have those conversations and understand really what that means in terms of your Masonic practice relative to a religious one. So I want to kind of walk through this for folks that maybe haven't given a lot of thought, or again, the new guy who may not know yet. But we'll start with the kind of very beginning. And Freemasonry presupposes a belief in a supreme being of some sort. There is a reason for this. There's dozens of reasons for it, more honestly, but for the important purposes of this conversation, it makes sense to understand some of the primary reasons. First, all of the tools of the craft that we have are designed to be applied in the context of a belief structure that Freemasonry does not teach. We are not a religion. We don't have a path to salvation. We do not provide a ritual practice that helps you find the divine where you may not have one already. Even the sort of meditative reflections of the lodge itself aren't particularly speaking about getting to a stronger connection with the divine. They're about understanding essentially the plan by which you're going to work. So with that kind of in mind, why do we sort of require this, and why is the G kind of all over the place? And a big part of that is understanding again that all of these tools are designed to be applied in the context of your relationship with the divine. Freemasonry isn't a spiritual practice. It's more of a moral framework. A religion's going to give you a path to get to your sort of awakening, your spiritual awakening. Freemasonry doesn't do that. So it does require you to have had some of that awakening already, which is really important in the entire sort of grand scheme of things. It's not for agnostics. It's not for atheists. It's for folks that have gotten to some understanding, some direct experience of that sort of the Grand Architect of the Universe, such that that experience can inform the way you operate. There is no disconnection for a Mason who is working with the Grand Architect of the Universe between what we do and how we're informed by that belief. That is a kind of a straight line connection if it's working well, right? It may not work well for everybody. You may have moments where your connection isn't as strong as you'd like, but they are, again, a skillful application of the Mason's tools against a sort of operating framework structured by the Grand Architect of the Universe is a absolutely powerful sight to behold. And when you act in accordance with that, you're not just using this square and doing kind of what's objectively right. You're working against your perception of the way the Grand Architect of the Universe has designed the place. It turns the application of these tools from just effective lenses to solve problems and into sort of a reflection of your own understanding of the Grand Architect of the Universe. So we are all kind of working in service to that perception, that reality. But it's easy to use the symbols or confuse the symbols with because we put a Bible on the altar in most lodges in the United States, for example, it's easy to consider us as preferential to one religion, but it's not. It's really there as a representative sample for folks that need it. In any jurisdiction, you can swap that out and take your oaths on whatever book you deem fit. But in the context of this, our work here in the podcast and kind of Freemasonry at large, when you are sitting down and reflecting and trying to figure out the application of the tools, as you'll find in any of the episodes that we've done so far, you should really bear in mind kind of that connection that you have, that sitting in the sanctum sanctorum, as it were, that sitting in that sacred space, communing with with the divine, and then applying the tools with that knowledge in hand is going to create a much more powerful outcome than sort of just applying them as, strictly speaking, independent moral apparatus, right? So give that a bit of thought and some reflection. I'd love to hear your perspectives on it. Reach out to me and we can talk about it and maybe do some more episodes if this is the kind of stuff you want to talk about.
The views represented in this podcast are those of the speaker alone and are not representative of any grand or subordinate lodge.
Hi, Brian here. I wanted to thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you have any suggestions or guidance for further episodes you'd like to see or hear, whatever the case may be, please don't hesitate to reach out to me at amasonswork.com, and we will try and incorporate your suggestions into a future recording. Thanks.
Freemasonry teaches us that the true work is within, a lifelong journey of reflection, discipline, and discovery. At A Mason's Work, we help Masons bring out their best selves through meaningful self-inquiry and symbolic practice. From personal reflection to lodge engagement, we offer tools that turn symbols into action. Visit us at amasonswork.com. The work is within. The time is now.